What's up? Welcome back to the second episode of the Dunk Digest podcast with me, Cammy Dunks, and Peter Mannion. And today we're going to be going over how long should it take to go from touching the rim to dunking. But first of all, I'd just like to say rest in peace to Terence Clark. Obviously, very sad what happened. He was going to be very good, going to get drafted this year, but yeah, all our thoughts go to with his friends and family. But yeah, if you guys would like to introduce yourselves for the second episode.
My name is Peter Mannion. Pretty sure if you guys have watched the first episode, we've done this as well before. But I'm a 5'9" dunker from Ireland. One of the main goals I have currently right now is just to get more consistent with dunks like the windmill. Hopefully, eventually get the between the legs dunk on 10 foot. And yeah, just sticking to training, and that's it really.
Yeah, and I'm Kami Dunks. I'm 5'5", working on dunking consistently, hopefully this year, and then hopefully as well a two-hand dunk would be quite nice. So see if that happens.
Yeah, and I'm Nathan Dunks. All our Instagrams and YouTubes are in the description if you want to see. But yeah, I'm just over 6 foot, 6'1" in shoes, and yeah, I'm sort of two-hand dunking now off the backboard, stuff like that, and hopefully I can get to like windmill level by the end of the year. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, if you don't know us, get to know. Like, comment, subscribe. The first one's going down really well, so thank you very much for that. And yeah, so let's get straight into it. So first thing we're going to talk about is how much of your hands do you need to get over the rim to dunk. So yeah, I'll let someone else start off.
Yeah. So what I've found is like if you can get like 4 inches over, you can start to get like decent attempts down at least. That's usually like off a lob at least, but off the dribble, usually you need to get at least like 6 to maybe 7 inches. Like 6 inches like matters, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Pete?
6 inches is a great number, I think. Yeah, if you want to be dunking anyways, I think you'd roughly need around 6 to 7 inches just to be dunking it clean. Anyways, as Cammy said, around 4 inches around here. You might get some lucky tip-ins with a lucky lob or something. But to be dunking it clean or something like that, definitely around wrist level or even lower than the wrist.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like 4 inches again. Like that'd be like with a perfect lob though. So ideally, someone else lobbing the ball would probably make it easier for that. But yeah, obviously, if you want to go off the dribble, then you're gonna need more, maybe like 7 inches. But 6 inches is quite ideal, really. But yeah, if you're doing a self lob, unless you've got like the perfect lob technique, then you probably will need like lower hands, just because obviously you're gonna have to reach it from different angles and stuff like that. But if you like are really good at lobbing, or you have someone else lobbing, then you can probably get away with like mid palm. So yeah, that's kind of where you need to be. It's where you can sort of track your progress. But one thing people kind of fail to realise, I think, is when they try to like calculate how far over the rim they are, they sort of go by like what they feel on the bottom of the rim as well. When you sort of need to be looking like on the top of the rim. That's why like camera angles do matter quite a bit.
Yeah, if you get like a good angle, you can make yourself look like you're jumping like 50 inches, on a good jump.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Pete, how long did it take from you to go from touching the rim to dunking?
It took me a while. I remember I touched the rim for the first time with my friend. We were in an indoor basketball court, and he was like, "You can't touch this." I was like 5'6" at the time, and I knew I could touch the backboard, but nothing really as high. So he was like, "No, you can't do it." So I that kind of gave me motivation to kind of like just get it done, to prove him wrong and all that stuff. So he was hyping me up after I said I could. Then all of a sudden I just ran up, tapped the rim for the very first time. It was only 5'6". I was like, oh, that was big for me at the time. And then after that, from touching the rim, it took me a good while to get my first proper dunk on 10 foot, because when you're trying to increase your vertical, it takes a while to even add a few inches to your vert. But after that, really, it was just All good.
Yeah,
what about
I
you,
think
Jim?
I just had a fucking brain fart right there.
Yeah, so for me, I first touched the rim when I was like, so I just turned 17 at the time, so this was back in 2017. I was still in high school, so the story for this one was I was basically just in gym class, and I was like sitting down, and like the basketball rims were out at the side, and they usually when we're in PE, they're kind of like tucked into the wall and not like out, but for some reason they were kind of just like sticking out at this point, so we're just kind of looking at the rims, and I don't even really remember how we got onto kind of the conversation, but we were talking about like who could touch the rim in the school, because like over in the UK it's not really like a massive sport, basketball, so it's like not many people can actually jump that high, other than maybe I guess a few people that maybe play like football or something, but even then they most likely won't be touching like 10 foot. I think there was maybe two other guys in my school that could touch the rim at the time, and like they could like barely do it as well. So I was like this like 5'4" like skinny kid that just didn't look like he could kind of do anything athletic really. So we were just kind of talking about it, and it got onto it, and I was like, you know what, I think I could probably touch the rim. So then one of my friends was sitting across at the other side of the bench, and he basically just said, prove it then. So I kind of just got up just from where I was sitting there, and I just kind of ran up and touched the rim for the first time, and it kind of just felt so good because I'd been kind of grinding for like I don't know, like 6, 7, 8 months or whatever, just to kind of try and get to this level, and it felt really good to kind of finally do it. But I couldn't really react because like everyone was kind of there, and I didn't want to look like a freak, you know. But yeah, that was my first rim touch, and then to dunking. So it took me roughly 3 years. So my first dunk was last year. That was in May of 2020. Just before I turned 20 as well, which was nice because I can say that I dunked as a teenager. So
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I bet you played it off like that wasn't the first time touching the rim though, didn't you?
yeah, I was like, it's no biggie, you know, I could do this all the time.
Yeah, mine was a little bit different to your two. I was alone when I done mine. Yeah, it was back in April 2019. So for the equivalent of the American listeners listening and watching, of course, on YouTube, it was junior year of high school. So I was around I think I was like 16 or something like that, just turned 16 or just turned 17, something like that. And yeah, so I was just literally in my front garden. I just thought I'd play basketball like a normal day, and then I just went up and touched the rim, and I got like an inch over, like kind of like that. So I probably could have done it before, but you know, that's just the first day I got it. Maybe that's just like a high jumping day or whatever, but yeah, that's how it went down. I then recorded it. It was like sending it to all my friends because I was so hyped. But yeah, that's kind of what started the dunk journey. And then in June 2020, I got my first dunk. So yeah, that was sick. But yeah, I didn't really start training properly for it until like the start of 2020. So it probably could have been a quicker process, but I was just sort of jumping and, you know, sort of getting the technique for it because I'd never really focused on jumping at all. It was sort of just more like a hop step type thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then it sort of built into a bit better technique.
Yeah, I think everyone kind of just starts out with that kind of like bad 2 foot technique where you just kind of jump into it, like. Yeah.
So I think a lot of it kind of matters with your past training experience. Like if you just touching the rim and you've only just started dunking, only just started jumping, I mean, but you probably get to like dunking a lot quicker than, let's say, if you've been training for like 5 years and then you've just touched the rim and then you want to then get to the dunking level. Obviously, Cammy, you're a little bit shorter, so it's you've got to touch a lot higher. So obviously this might be more like relevant for you.
Yeah, I think like when I first started kind of training, it was I think it was August of 2016, like the end of August roughly. And at that point, I'd touched like 9'4" off of 1 foot, because it's like this. We had this like 9'4" rim that was like literally in this kind of small dance studio type gym. So like I'd touched that rim barely off 1 foot, but I kind of thought at the time I was like a 2 foot jumper. Like I didn't really know that you could kind of jump high off 1 foot. I didn't really realize that because I saw like Jordan Kilgannon and like Stephen Selly and these people that kind of just jump high off 2 foot. So I just thought, oh, you've got to kind of jump off like 2 foot to jump high. So I kind of started out just kind of working on 2 foot, and I got to probably a point of like 9'5" by the end of September. But this was like indoors. But then when I'd go like outdoors, it'd be much lower than that. And I think within my first kind of, I guess, year, I went from that 9'4" touch to touching like a 10 foot rim in June. So it was August to June. I gained about 8 inches, and that was like, I guess, like a combination of like growing and also kind of just maturing as an athlete as well. But in between that time, I mainly just kind of focused on just basically jumping. Like I jumped 3 days a week because I did actually originally start out in October of 2016, I think it was. I kind of just jumped every day for that kind of whole month. And I also did like a plyometric program on top of that as well. Like I did like, I think it was like 3x20 box jumps, and then I was like dunking on top of that. So I was jumping like a lot, like a shit ton. And then I got like jumper's knee, so I had to kind of like, I took like I think 6 weeks off until kind of the start of 2017, and then kind of focused on like rebuilding. But I just basically jumped like 3 days a week after that. From it was Monday, then off Tuesday, then Wednesday jump, then off Thursday, then Friday, and then I'd occasionally have like a Saturday session if it was like a nice day. But that was kind of my training at the start, and then I guess more recently it's just been kind of like weights and stuff, like weights, plyos, sprints, like all that kind of things. But if you want to actually see what I do for training, you can maybe check out, I don't know, like Isaiah, because I'm programmed by him and John on THP Strength.
Yeah, that's weird that you said that you first started off as a 2 foot jumper, because I first started off as a 1 foot jumper. I don't know what I was thinking at the time. I used to play soccer or football a lot when I was younger, so I thought when you just jump, it's just pretty much just jumping off 1 foot, because I seen like LeBron and all those dudes.
Yeah.
Then eventually I seen people like Stephen Selly again, Jordan Kilgannon, Isaiah, all these other dunkers on YouTube, and I said I kind of want to try this out, and then start practicing my 2 foot technique, working on it. And I'd spend maybe like, when the weather's nice, like during summertime, I'd probably spend 5 hours every day dunking, working on my technique. It was not good at all. It was good for like the technique side of it and like working on dunks and stuff, because I gained serious amount of vert just during that summer alone. My technique got way better, but I got jumper's knees as well. So that's the bad side about jumping so much. And then that was pretty much my training, just jumping every day, for as much as I could, until I got bored pretty much. And now I'm just training with Isaiah as well.
Yeah, so I actually started off as a 1 foot jumper as well, and then I sort of transitioned into that like 2 foot with bad technique, and then sort of built it up a bit. But yeah, it kind of started off like I'd jump off 1 foot, and then my dad would be like, "What are you jumping off 1 foot for? You get double the power with 2 feet." And obviously now looking back, that's probably one of the stupidest thing you could ever say. But yeah, he kind of forced me into it. I'd just jump off 2 foot just to shut him up. And yeah, he just and started from there really, just started jumping with 2 feet. Yeah, I didn't lift weights like at all. Like I was like twice as skinny as I am now back when I first started. Like I couldn't even deadlift my own body weight. Like it was pretty bad. But yeah, obviously made a lot of gains recently with training. Like weightlifting has helped so much. But yeah, I never really did like the jump every day thing. I'd kind of take a few days off between. But I did do one program back in April 2019. Yeah, 2019. That begins in V and ends in Shock, which I didn't actually end up completing because some things just happened, and but we won't go there. So yeah, that's basically what happened. And then in October of 2019, I did get jumper's knee as well, which sucked, but I managed to rehab it myself and get back to full strength myself, and I haven't had it since. So who knows? I might be I might be a knee doctor, but no, all it
Built
comes down
different.
to, yeah, all it come down to was a tight muscle in the end. So I just stretched it and it went away. So probably a bit unconventional, but that's what worked.
Yeah. It's not recommended. Don't try that.
No.
No, I am not a doctor. I would not recommend foam rolling one muscle for an hour each day and stretching. but that's what fixed it. So I wouldn't change it. But yeah, but another thing you kind of got to look at when you're starting out is obviously your technique. Like you can gain a lot of inches, obviously not overnight because you have got to rep these things out, but yeah, what was kind of the one thing that you noticed with your jumps that were kind of holding you back technique wise?
Yeah, I think for me, like being a 1 foot jumper, technique's kind of not as important. Like I've always just found if I just kind of run and jump, it usually kind of just works out. And even so, like it'll kind of just work itself out off 1 foot at least. But I think off 2 foot, like I can kind of jump decently off 2 foot. Like I think it's more important, I'd say, because like I've definitely experienced it with like, especially if I add like steps in. So if I'm trying to do like a 4-step jump, I'll usually have a shorter penultimate, but off like a 2-step, I'll usually be able to have that kind of longer penultimate step, and it'll look just a lot better, and I'll jump a lot higher. So that's kind of my experience with it, I guess.
My experience with it is just when I first started, my penultimate step was really, really short, and I wasn't really looking at videos like technique for 2 foot jumping and all that stuff. So I just kind of eventually had to figure out myself. Like I spent ages just looking at like Jordan Kilgannon and his technique on 2 foot, and I seen his penultimate step was like crazy long. So I just started working on that, and then I figured out eventually what the step was called, because I was like, what's the long step in before you dunk? So I found out what it was, and then I started looking into a load of technique work on that, and I think that's the main thing that really helps with technique is just having a long penultimate step and a good block step.
Yeah. I think as well, like some people can get away with just having like, I guess like, I don't know, like out of the box type technique where it's not kind of like polished off. Like you see people like Justin Darlington, like he kind of just pops into the jump and he still jumps like 45 plus inches and is just like a complete freak. So I don't think it's always necessarily something you've got to like work on, but I think kind of it's just, I guess it just depends.
Another guy that dunks exactly like Justin is Cordell Dunks.
Yeah.
He is like his technique is pretty much similar to Justin's. Pretty cool, and he jumps crazy high as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say personally one of the biggest things for me was sort of transferring my speed into my jump. Like I'd start off really quick and then I'd just end up being really slow and it sort of just take everything out of it. But yeah, my technique kind of just got better from posting on Instagram and getting roasted. But yeah, then I sort of just repped it out from there, and it just helped really. The video that Isaiah dropped, Isaiah Rivera, that's a very good video. I'd recommend that to anyone who's trying to learn technique. I think it's probably one of his most popular videos if you search on his channel. But yeah, I'd highly recommend that because that's got like everything you really need for 2 foot jumping, and he's got one for 1 foot as well that he filmed with John Evans. Yeah, that's basically it really. Just transferring speed. I'm still working on that, to be honest. I still haven't mastered it, but yeah, it's something that will hopefully help a lot once I do end up mastering it.
Yeah, I think that's something we should emphasize as well, is it takes literally years of work to actually build a good technique. Like it's not something that's just going to happen within like a few weeks or even a month. Like it takes like years and years of like specific practice to actually improve that.
It's like if you're trying to learn to shoot a basketball. You're not gonna go 10 for 10 from 3-pointer after just your first week of jumping or shooting the basketball. When you look at all the good shooters in the NBA, they're training for years, and they're not even. Some of them aren't even shooting 45% from 3. It's just consistency. You have to stay consistent with it, and it takes years and years of training.
Yeah, definitely. So another thing I want to go into is, how do we all find the process? Any sort of mental tips that could help people, along the way?
Yeah, I think like I think a big thing is trying to stay like injury free, or at least be kind of smart if you do get injured. Like, for example, like jumper's knee. Like I've had countless months where I've not been able to actually train like specifically for dunking because I've had jumper's knee, or like even like a hamstring pull or something like that. So it's trying to be smart about how you load it as well and not overdo it, because like you can go and do like a jump session or like a dunk session and you can dunk like 80 times, but is every one of those reps, every one of those 80 reps actually kind of like good? Like it's just something to kind of think about at least.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Just pretty much just don't do what I done anyways. Don't jump every day for countless amount of hours because you will get injured. That's how I got jumper's knee, and eventually that held me back with training properly because I wasn't really training properly at the time. I was just jumping and not listening to my body. When it comes to dunking, you definitely want to listen to your body and just kind of like rest it maybe 2 or 3 days a week before a dunk session. Just take care of your body, as Cammy said. Try to stay injury free. It's easier said than done.
Yeah.
When you're dunking, you're gonna get injured quite a few times, whether that's the ankle, especially knee, hamstring, all that. Just try to stay injury free and be smart with your training.
Yeah, I think that's like the thing as well, is there's like two kind of constants, and it's like time and consistency. So like if you're consistent over the course of like 3 years, you can expect to kind of see big gains in vertical and see like improvement at least.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I'd personally say, like, agreeing with like what Cammy says, when you do reps, you need to make sure they're good ones, because it translates back again to like shooting a basketball. If you're just like shooting around like in your front garden or something, just doing like chill, just chucking up shots, you know, just doing whatever, just not doing any intensity, or just, you know, just chucking up shots for fun. When you get into a real game, like, that could be harder because you haven't practiced game speed, and then suddenly it could just be thrown off. So it's kind of the same with jumping. You need to like do good reps when you do reps. Yeah, because otherwise it's might be a bit tricky. But another thing I'd say is just either get yourself a good coach so you know what you're doing. You got something planned out for you, but if not, I know Cammy done this, just do tons of research, and you know, obviously you were doing some quite decent training, weren't you, when you just training yourself?
Yeah, like before I even started with like John, I'd had like a periodized training program since like I think 2019 was when I first decided like I'm gonna kind of learn this, because I was going to dunk camp, so I knew that was happening. So I was like, right, I'm gonna kind of plan out every kind of step in training so that I can kind of be on my best kind of game for dunk camp, I guess.
Yeah,
just put it that way. But yeah, what ended up happening was I basically like overtrained, and I got like jumper's knee before dunk camp, so I couldn't really train that well, or actually execute the plan I had planned out. So that happened, but I did have some decent training beforehand. So
yeah, that obviously gave you quite a good base to build on. So
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so should we get into reviewing people's jumps and dunks?
Yeah,
I feel like we've covered a decent bit there. So let me share my screen with you. There we go. Can you all see that?
Yeah.
Right, so first of all, we're going to go with Evan jumps. Their ats are on the screen, so you can see we're only going to go over a few this episode and go over some more episodes, because we got a decent amount of submissions, so we don't want to go through, you know, all of them in one episode. Otherwise, we'll be here all day. But yeah, let's have a look at these. That's a nice windmill, to be fair. I think this is on like 9-1ish, he said. So, you know, it's not a low rim. It's, you know, it's good height.
That's good technique as well.
Yeah, that's gonna help once he's going up to like 10 foot and doing that on 10 foot.
Yeah, that's nice.
Definitely. So I think this one's on 10 foot. Oof.
He's right there.
Close.
He's right there. Oh my god.
That's with the left as well. And he's not lefty, I don't think.
Is he not?
I don't think so. Because his windmill right there was with the right.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, you're right there. That is so close. Let's see another one.
Yeah. Does anyone know if he's dunked before, actually?
I'm not too sure.
I'm not sure. If you're watching this podcast, comment it down below. But yeah, I don't want to discredit you or, put out false information. But yeah, that was a nice little pump there, reverse pump.
That's a nice dunk. That's difficult to do as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's another 10-foot attempt. Ooh, that was so close.
Yeah, that's nice.
I feel like if he had the jump from the first 10-foot attempts and that lob, he would have pushed that in, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it looks like that jump was a little bit lower than the last one.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about timing, really, especially with lobs.
Definitely. Yeah, that was like borderline, but like if he had a couple more inches, he probably would have got down a decent dunk there. But yeah, anyway, you're definitely very close. So keep going, keep up the good work.
Yeah.
Right, so here we have Connor. You can see it out on screen there. This was an exclusive, but to our disappointment, he has just posted it. But yeah, here we go. This is on 10 foot, obviously. Behind the back.
Yeah, so he's 6'2", yeah?
I think, yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
that's close.
Nice.
Damn, nice. If that was like a really flexible rim, that might have gone in.
Yeah, just like a little bit of hype as well, and that's definitely there.
I think he needs to jump from a little bit further as well.
Yeah.
He punched that, no problem. He has the height for it anyways.
Yeah, definitely. If that was like one of them like portable rims that have been like dunked on for about 10 years and it was like really loose, he would have crushed that. But yeah,
that's a good attempt. Yeah,
definitely super close. Damn. Yeah, you'll hit that soon. Definitely send that when you do hit it. We'll probably see it anyway, but yeah. But this is one Pete sent me. Pete got the submission, so there's his out on screen just so you can show it, Bryce. So yeah, let's see what he's got. I haven't actually seen this one yet. Ooh,
backflip.
Backflip.
Yeah, that's close.
That is.
Wait, is that going?
He went in, but it was, I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't
technically not a dunk, but that's seriously close.
Yeah, definitely. Oof.
Yeah, props for the attempt though.
Yeah. Doing a backflip is tough alone, never mind with the ball in your hand. Trust me, I've tried it. I landed on my neck a few times. It's not fun. It's not fun at all.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have the balls to try that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, same.
Here's another attempt by the looks of it. Ooh.
That one was a lot closer.
Yeah, that was close.
With the next Jay Clark here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy though.
Just a couple more inches and he would have got that.
Imagine you're just like walking by the street and you see someone do like a backflip into a dunk.
I've actually never seen anyone dunk 10 foot, other than me.
Damn.
Really?
I've been at dunk camp, so I saw like everyone dunk there. But before that, I think I'd seen like one guy dunk, and he was like, I want to say like 6'5", and it was like a rim grazer. But
yeah, I think the only person I've actually seen is Ilias when we did our meet-up back in September.
Yeah.
I think that's the only time. There might have been one time I went to the university and saw some really tall guy do it, but I think it might have been a slightly lower rim though. So, but like 10 foot, yeah, I've only seen one person apart from me. So, yeah. That's a different perspective on what it's like over here compared to the US for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, once he gets that backflip down, and then he'll start doing it obviously with less of a break and just spring straight back up from the backflip. That'll look crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's another one. There's his out there. I'm not sure what his actual name is, unfortunately, but let's have a look what he's got.
Hey, some 1 foot.
That's nice. That's good technique as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the way he holds the ball as well.
Yeah, that's nice. It's quite a nice style when they like cuff it before.
Yeah, that's nice.
Kind of like Zach Levine.
Yeah. And that Sam guy who dunks with Travis, his old act was like Sam Dunker. I'm not sure what it is now, but I think he's changed it. But he does that really well. It looks really nice to watch.
Yeah.
Maybe if this guy pumped the ball up higher a little bit more, maybe it would have helped.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dunno,
because he looks like he
no.
kind of like only brings up a little bit, but
Yeah.
still, a windmill's a windmill.
Yeah, it's definitely, he still crushed it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was nice. Let's have a look at another one of his clips.
Hey, I like that
Nice
one.
lob off 1 foot. So hard to time lobs off 1 foot. I'm still actually trash at them.
Yeah.
And that was a low lob as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That cut off his jump a little bit as well. Yeah, if he just sent that lob to the moon and it just bounced up a bit more, he probably would have got some serious height, to be fair.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. But he still again absolutely punched it.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at another one.
Off
Ooh.
2 foot this
That's
time.
easy. He made that look so easy.
In the trousers
with-
as well. Or
Yeah.
pants
Yeah,
for
in the
most of the
gym
people who
hand.
are watching. But yeah, that was super easy. Damn. 2 hands as well, which
He just made that look so simple.
yeah.
I'm jealous.
Definitely, I want to see some in-game dunks from you if you're watching the podcast. I want to see
Yeah.
some in-game dunks because I'm sure you could catch a few bodies with that. Oh,
Yeah.
and that's all the submissions going to go through today. So yeah, that was really good. We've still got a few more to go through in future episodes, so hold fire, send them. We'll let you know in the podcast prior when we need more. But yeah, we've got a few submissions to get through, but we will get through everyone's. So if you went in this episode, you probably saw your list on the side there, your name in the list, I should say. Sorry, down the side there. So we'll get through to you. We just spacing them out over episodes. But yeah, I mean, I've got nothing much else to say. Does anyone else want to add anything to what we've talked about today?
Like, comment, and
That's-
subscribe. And
Yeah.
share the podcast. If you know someone who wants to jump higher or likes dunking or anything like that, just share the podcast.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And if you're still watching here, share on your story and we'll repost anyone who does it and put the hashtag 6 inches is enough. And we'll repost you. Yeah, so I mean, only the loyal fans can be watching to this point, so we appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. See if we can get to 50 subscribers by the time we release the third one. Let's see. I mean, this is going to be released on like Sunday, so I mean, this is irrelevant to whoever's watching, but you're watching it now. But yeah, so thank you so much for the support. It's been absolutely amazing. And we hope you like what you see, so stay around. If you don't know us, like I said at the start, all our social medias are down below.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Yeah, what was
One last thing. If you've watched this far, comment down below. 6 inches is enough. Just put that, no context or anything. Just that.
Yeah, we'll confuse some
Yeah.
people. But yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and we'll hopefully see you in the next one.
Yep.